babes, if you thought our weekend plans were unhinged, wait until we unpack a cabaret singer committing literal murder just to keep her New York apartment. We are spiraling.
We truly are. The psychological collapse we are about to analyze is, frankly, staggering.
Babes, welcome back. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit subscribe because, babes, we've got enough content to keep the weekend spiral going.
And babes, if you are returning snarkers, we love you and welcome back.
And please share this with a friend because that allows us to continue doing what we love, which is snarking together.
Which is truly our only marketable skill at this point.
Literally true. Okay, but before we get into the literal crimes, we have to talk about the drinks because the drinks are officially on deck.
Oh, I am so ready for this.
And yes, babes, we are drinking the cocktail we are personally trying to make go viral.
I still cannot believe we are doing this.
I am obsessed with it. So, reveal time. It is called the Shreya Summer Cocktail. And the recipe is, wait, let me pull it up. Okay, it's lemonade, strawberry syrup, a shot of espresso, and rum.
It is a chemical hazard.
I know, I admit, it sounds absolutely diabolical, but babes, it is insanely good, like dangerously good.
I will concede that it is surprisingly palatable, despite violating every known law of mixology.
First of all, we have to give a huge shout out to Snark Squad member Shreya for sliding into the DMs with the recipe. Shreya, you are a visionary.
She is an absolute menace to society, and I respect her deeply for it.
Right. But seriously, we are accidentally becoming cocktail inventors. I am emotionally attached to this drink instantly. It speaks to my soul.
I am approaching this strictly as a massive business venture. I mean, think about it. I am already sarcastically calculating the profit margins for franchising the Shreya Summer.
You are so corporate right now.
No, listen, you throw a shot of espresso into anything, and you can legally upcharge an extra $8 in any major city. It's just basic economics.
But does espresso really belong in everything? Because, like, the citrus of the lemonade and the dark roast coffee, it shouldn't work.
Analytically, it is creating complete sensory confusion. The extreme acidity of the lemonade is battling the bitter tannins of the espresso, and then you just numb the entire experience with rum.
It is so chaotic. But why do chaotic drinks somehow taste better? I feel like this drink is literally just emotional instability in a cup.
It perfectly mirrors our current psychological state. We don't want peace. We want our central nervous system to be actively fighting itself.
Yes, which is the perfect transition, honestly, because to you listening right now, we need to discuss everything we learned this week.
We really do.
Because, babes, life has truly been lifing, like aggressively.
It has been a gauntlet of forced self-improvement and pure delusion.
Just a quick recap of the absolute chaos we put ourselves through this week. We survived dentistry. We joined a rec basketball league.
A terrible, terrible miscalculation.
We attempted bird watching. I signed up for an Italian class. We had multiple completely failed sugar daddy manifestations.
The fact that you thought lighting a vanilla candle would summon a billionaire is still so funny to me.
Hey, I was trying. And through all of this, just the sheer exhausting effort of trying to maintain our sanity.
So we need to break this down into our top 3 life lessons of the week.
Yeah.
Because we must extract some sort of data from this suffering.
Okay, I'll go first. And this is deeply emotionally reflective for me. Lesson number 1. Pilates and rec basketball are not the same thing.
Oh, not even remotely.
Like, I thought my little reformer stretches gave me athletic prowess. No, I was out there on the court fighting for my life against, like, deeply aggressive accountants who take the game way too seriously.
You look like a baby deer on fresh ice.
Oh.
It was hard to watch. But my first lesson, turning this into a sarcastic sociological observation. Bird watching is secretly just invasive people watching.
Oh my God, yeah.
We bought those ridiculous binoculars to look at sparrows, and within 10 minutes we were actively judging the interior design of a third-floor apartment across the street. We are just nosy neighbors with better optics.
We were fully critiquing their crown molding. Okay, my second lesson. Adult hobbies are just emotionally exhausting.
Mathematically exhausting, yes.
Like, why can't we just sit on the couch? Why do we feel the need to romanticize our lives by adding all these side quests? Draining.
Well, speaking of draining side quests, my second lesson. Italian class becomes completely impossible to focus in when the instructor is ridiculously hot.
I knew you were going to bring him up.
I mean, I am trying to learn conversational syntax, and this man looks like a Renaissance painting. I absorbed 0 vocabulary, none.
You literally just stared at his jawline for 45 minutes.
It was an aesthetic paralysis. I couldn't help it.
Okay, my final lesson. Sugar daddies do not simply appear because we manifest them. The universe does not care about my vision board.
No, The universe requires actual logistical strategy, not just positive vibes and a trench coat in a hotel lobby. And my final lesson. Working full-time while trying to have a personality is mathematically impossible.
It really is.
You cannot be a corporate employee, an athlete, a linguist, and an amateur ornithologist all in one week. The human body simply rejects it.
We are just constantly attempting self-improvement while actively spiraling. Adulthood is just organized chaos.
Exactly. Which is why we are immediately abandoning all of those hobbies for a new one.
Yes. Oh my God, tell them.
We got another hobby recommendation, this time from Snark Squad member Celine.
Celine, you are an enabler, and I love you for it. Reveal what she said.
Celine suggested that we need to take DJ classes.
And babes, I am instantly emotionally attached to this idea. Like, it somehow feels fundamentally correct for us.
It really does.
Yeah.
Because instead of actually doing any physical work, you just stand behind a table and judge the vibe of a room. It is our natural calling.
I am already pretending we are, like, huge Ibiza DJs. I am building our fake festival personas in my head right now.
Oh, I already have the entire branding package worked out.
Wait, what is yours? Because my persona is very emotional. I want to be the crying in the club DJ. I want to create chaotic mashups nobody asked for.
Yeah.
Like Celine Dion layered over aggressive techno.
That is a sensory nightmare. Analytically, my persona is strictly corporate. I want to be the sarcastic DJ hired for tech millionaire retreats. I want to charge exorbitant fees to just stand there looking bored, occasionally pressing a space bar.
You would be so intimidating. But wait, we have an announcement. We fully plan on bringing this DJ energy to the family camping trip this weekend.
We're going to terrorize our relatives.
I am fully committed to the fantasy. I am picturing the aesthetic right now. We are setting up massive festival-grade speakers right next to the pop-up tents.
We're going to disrupt the local ecosystem.
We are forcing everyone to listen to our playlists. We are causing absolute chaos at the fire pit. It is going to be iconic.
I am sarcastically debating whether our moms would actually physically survive a live DJ set. The bass drops alone might send my mother into cardiac arrest.
She will just have to respect the mashups.
Well, speaking of chaotic women causing an absolute scene and nearly giving people heart attacks.
Oh, the transition.
We absolutely have to talk about the Elsbeth Season 3 finale. Because forcing your mom to listen to a techno remix of Fleetwood Mac is borderline criminal, but it is nothing compared to the actual crimes committed by aging divas in New York City.
Babes, I have been vibrating with excitement to unpack this. We watched this and we were screaming. We have to discuss and spiral with the Snark Squad.
We need to analyze every single unhinged moment.
So let me set the scene for you guys. Season 3, Episode 20, the finale, it's called That's All. And we are immediately thrown into this world of just faded elegance and murder.
The absolute best aesthetic for a crime show.
Right. So a minor royal named Vernon Duke is found mysteriously dead at this legendary, super exclusive New York hotel. And enter Elsbeth Tascioni in all her brightly colored, chaotic glory, stepping into this world of old money, cabaret, and desperate secrets.
The juxtaposition of Elsbeth against the hyper-curated wealth of New York society is the entire engine of the show. And this episode dialed it up to an 11.
And we have to talk about the guest star. I am completely geeking out. Emotionally, I was not prepared. Broadway legend Patti LuPone playing Ruby Lane.
The casting department deserves every award for that decision.
She is playing this theatrical, deeply entitled cabaret diva who literally lives in the hotel and absolutely refuses to give up her spotlight. She was giving everything, the camp, the drama, the outfits.
Let's analytically break down Ruby's behavior because it is a masterclass in toxic insecurity. She is relentlessly abusive to her co-stars.
So mean to them.
And she does this thing where she fakes forgetting her lyrics during a performance, framing it as a, quote, joke.
Which was so uncomfortable to watch.
But psychologically, it's brilliant. She isn't just being an obnoxious diva. She is actively testing the room. She needs to prove to herself that she still holds the audience's absolute terrified attention. It is a massive red flag.
It really is. And the way she interacts with Elsbeth, at first Ruby is playing the role of the gracious star. She acts like Elsbeth is her new best friend because Elsbeth is just constantly praising her.
Ruby feeds on sycophants.
But the second Elsbeth actually asks a real detective question. The flip is insane. Ruby goes from darling to being utterly disgusted, calls her a phony, and just storms off.
Which is a dead giveaway. Innocent people just answer the question. Only guilty people treat a police inquiry as a personal theatrical betrayal.
Exactly. But let's get into the motive, because this is where I actually started to spiral. The why of the murder.
The economic desperation of it all.
Yes. Ruby killed Vernon Duke because the hotel building was being sold. Her husband had died, and she felt like New York City was just leaving her behind. She was desperate to protect her apartment and her faded relevance.
It was pure self-preservation, executed in the most violent way possible.
And I'm sorry, I feel a twinge of chaotic empathy for her.
You empathize with blunt force trauma.
No, but like, who hasn't wanted to commit a minor felony to keep a good rent-controlled apartment in this economy? I get the real estate anxiety. It's a tragic, emotionally desperate villain origin story.
Okay, but analytically, her coping mechanism for feeling irrelevant was murder. That is a terrible rebranding strategy. You don't secure your legacy by bludgeoning a minor aristocrat. You just end up in a jumpsuit that completely clashes with your complexion.
I mean, true, but the panic. When the city is trying to erase you, you fight back. But oh my God, the mess of how she tried to cover it up. We need to talk about the red herring.
The sheer delusion of the guest stars in this episode was unparalleled.
Michael Urie. Michael Urie makes a cameo as Monty Blakemont III, this dashing art connoisseur and philanthropist.
And his alibi is the funniest thing the writers have ever produced.
I was screaming.
Let's sarcastically break this down. He literally wanders into an active murder scene. There is a body, there's a police tape, and his excuse is, I just really love this painting.
I just wanted to look at the brush strokes.
In what universe is I just really love this painting? A valid excuse for trespassing at a homicide scene. The absolute unmitigated gall of generational wealth to assume a crime scene is just an immersive art installation.
He was so unbothered. But that wasn't even the most ridiculous excuse in the episode. Ruby's alibi. The meta-humor delusion of it all.
The father crime subplot.
Babes, I am obsessed with the fact that Elsbeth is constantly referencing this fictional procedural show called Father Crime, which is about murderous nuns.
It is the writers winking directly at the audience. It's so layered.
Ruby claims she couldn't have committed the murder because she was in her suite watching an episode of Father Crime, and she gives this hyper-detailed description of a scene with a murderous nun as her ironclad alibi.
But the analytical trap that Elsbeth sets here is flawless, because Elsbeth actually checks the broadcast.
Yes, and the scene Ruby described was cut for time from the live broadcast. She had read an advanced script or something because she's in the industry, but she didn't actually watch it on TV that night.
It is the perfect downfall. Her industry connections provided her with a fake alibi, but her disconnect from reality is what unraveled it. She is out of touch, which proves her guilt.
So good, but then we get to the bag swap. The genius of the oversized tote bags.
Finally, a tactical justification for her luggage.
I have spent 3 seasons wondering why Elsbeth carries around 14 massive, chaotic tote bags, and she finally uses them to pull a literal bait and switch.
She creates a distraction and swaps Ruby's designer bag with an identical replica she brought with her.
Just so she can dig through Ruby's actual bag to find the murder weapon. It was peak Elsbeth chaos. But wait, I have to push back here.
On the legality.
Yes. Is any of this actually admissible in court? She just stole a woman's purse without a warrant based on vibes.
Who cares? This isn't Law and Order, babes. We are not here for constitutional procedure. We are here for the drama of the trap. The legalities are irrelevant when the theatrical reveal is that good.
Okay, fair. The reveal was incredibly satisfying. But you know what actually made me cry? The ultimate subplot. Teddy's engagement.
Oh, the emotional core of the episode.
Teddy, played by Ben Levi Ross, proposing to his boyfriend, Roy. I was getting incredibly emotional over the romance of it all. It was so sweet.
It was. But Elsbeth meddling was objectively terrifying.
She just loves him so much.
She is deeply delusional. She was suggesting absurd, over-the-top ideas. She wanted to hire a skywriter for the proposal over Manhattan.
Which would have been iconic.
It would have been a public nuisance.
Yeah.
Titty is a low-key person. Elsbeth treats her son's life like she's directing a Broadway revival. She has no concept of boundaries.
And Teddy finally snaps. He has to set actual boundaries with her, and you can just see Elsbeth feeling completely irrelevant, which mirrors Ruby's storyline so perfectly.
It really does. Both women are terrified of being pushed out of the narrative.
And to make it worse, Roy mentions they might move to the suburbs to start a family. Elsbeth's face. The horror of the suburbs.
Well, the truly embarrassing part, and I have to point this out sarcastically, Teddy had to go to Captain Wagner for normal wedding advice instead of his own mother.
Wendell Pierce giving love advice.
Exactly. Teddy literally had to consult a homicide captain for grounded relationship advice because his mother was too busy trying to crowdsource a biplane. It is deeply humiliating for Elsbeth.
But also so wholesome for the Precinct family. Oh, and wait. Did you catch the Broadway Easter egg during the engagement scenes?
I did, and it was so incredibly niche.
When they joke that Teddy has such a good voice, he could be on Broadway. Babes, Ben Levi Ross was literally Tony nominated for Ragtime this season.
The meta layers of this show are exhausting but brilliant. They are catering specifically to theater nerds, and it works.
I screamed at the TV. Okay, we have to talk about the behind-the-scenes gossip and the season 4 setup because they dropped so much tea.
Let's start with the most important structural fix. Kaya is back.
Kaya returning. Cara Patterson working undercover as Deandra at the hotel. Oh my god, I miss the Kaya and Elsbeth dynamic so much this season.
The show analytically falls apart without her. Elsbeth is a helium balloon of chaos, and Kaya is the lead weight holding her to the earth. When Cara was on maternity leave, the balance was entirely off.
It really was. We need Deandra back full-time, but what we don't have is a romance. The romance is officially dead.
Mayor Alec Bloom.
Yes. Alec, Elsbeth's ex, is the newly elected mayor, and he is just out there moving on with a mystery brunette. Elsbeth's face broke my heart.
This is where we need to insert the showrunner T, because Jonathan Tollins addressed this directly.
Drop the intel.
Tollins basically said that giving Elsbeth a steady romance would be, quote, boring. He stated, she doesn't need a man to be fully herself.
I mean, I love an independent queen, but I want her to have a little fun.
Analytically, he is right. The second you domesticate a quirky female detective, you ruin the tension of the show. She needs to be a solitary weirdo to solve the crimes effectively.
A solitary weirdo with 14 tote bags. True. Okay, what about the Emmy category drama? Because this is hilarious to me.
Carrie Preston did an interview where she talked about the show successfully petitioning to be reclassified as the comedy at the Emmys.
Which makes so much sense.
Because the delusion of competing against The Handmaid's Tale in the drama category is just mathematically absurd.
Yeah.
You cannot pit a woman solving murders with a knockoff Birkin bag against dystopian societal collapse. It is a comedy.
It is the campiest comedy on television. And speaking of camp, Carrie Preston's casting manifestations for season 4. I completely lost it.
The mother storyline.
She mentioned wanting Mia Farrow or Bette Midler to play Elsbeth's mother in season 4.
If they secure Bette Midler, the television landscape will fundamentally alter.
Can you imagine the sheer chaos of Bette Midler walking into that precinct? It would explain Elsbeth's entire personality.
It would be a masterclass in aggressive eccentricity. We have to manifest this immediately.
Lighting a candle right now. Okay, we need to move into our segments. Segment 1, biggest finale breakdown.
The debate of the hour. Who emotionally unraveled the hardest in this episode?
See, I think it's Elsbeth. I'm going to defend her chaotic love for her son, spiraling into a deep depression because your son wants a quiet suburban life instead of a skywriting proposal. That is a fundamental identity crisis. She felt her whole world shifting.
I hear your emotional argument, but analytically I must argue for Ruby Lane. Ruby lost her grip on reality to the point where she fabricated a timeline based on a fake, non-procedural and bludgeoned a man. That is the ultimate messy breakdown. You cannot top homicide as a trauma response.
Okay, valid point. Homicide is definitely messier than crying over a suburb.
Yeah.
Segment 2, could we be detectives?
A debate on how long you and the Snark Squad would realistically survive solving crimes in New York.
I will admit right now I would be terrible. I would be far too distracted by the glamorous hotel aesthetics to notice the literal murder weapon. I'd be like, wait, is this wallpaper custom?
You would be an active hindrance to the investigation. And realistically, if I had to carry around 14 massive tote bags like Elsbeth, my posture would be instantly ruined. I would require immediate orthopedic surgery. I am not physically built for justice.
We would not last a day. Okay, segment 3, most chaotic hobby era. Let's rank the random hobbies we tried this week.
We have to put Italian class up against bird watching.
Which is more chaotic?
Italian class is mathematically more chaotic because bird watching is just invasive people watching, which is free. Italian class requires you to pay money to not learn a language because you are distracted by a hot instructor. It is a terrible financial investment.
But the bird watching gear was so expensive and we looked ridiculous. Okay, final segment. Segment 4. DJ names and festival personas.
Time to finalize our ridiculous alter egos.
I am officially DJ Spiral. I am bringing crying in the club energy. I want everyone emotionally devastated on the dance floor.
And I am DJ ROI, return on investment. I am a highly profitable, sarcastic corporate DJ who only plays royalty-free beats at tech conferences.
So bleak. We need the Snark Squad to brainstorm terrible names for themselves in the comments.
Please, we need better options.
Okay, before we sign off, we have one final provocative thought connecting to the showrunner's final quote.
Yes, Jonathan Tolan said the whole thesis of the finale was Elsbeth's final line. Isn't it great to love things?
Such a beautiful line.
But, babes, look at Ruby Lane. She loved her apartment and her career so much, it literally turned her into a murderer. So, is it actually safe to love things that much, or should we all just stay emotionally detached?
Wow.
Think about it while you mix your espresso rum drinks.
That is so dark, and I love it. Babes, thank you so much to the Snark Squad for hanging out with us today.
We truly appreciate the parasocial relationship.
We need to know in the comments, would you try the Shreya Summer?
Are you brave enough?
What is your weirdest favorite cocktail? What hobby should we try next, and what would your DJ name be?
Please leave your resumes in the comments.
Remind them to like, comment, and subscribe.
Do all the algorithmic things.
Stay messy, stay experimental, and we will see us on the Snark side.